Hi guys, Tech James here. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to replace a Game Boy Advance cartridge battery. So if you go on your Game Boy Advance and you get this message saying the file is corrupted or the internal battery has run dry, then that means you will have to replace the battery because the game will no longer save. So if I just load up a game here and I went to save it, it just wouldn't work. So there's a few things you'll need. You'll need one of these replacement batteries, and they're called CR1616, and they're 3 volts and they are cell battery. And also you need the tabbed version because you need the tabs at the end so you can solder them down. You'll also need a tri-ring screwdriver, and these things were given to me by J Wellman Sales. He has an eBay page where he sells all of these repair tools and batteries for Game Boy cartridges and stuff like that. So I'll leave a link to all of the stuff used in this video in the description, and I'll also leave a link to his eBay store. So now you can start taking apart the cartridge. So it's just got one screw at the back, and you will need a tri-ring screwdriver to do this. So simply just take it out. Once the screw is out, you can slide the cartridge down, and now you can simply just take it apart. So here is the motherboard inside. You will need to be a bit careful with the motherboard, but it's quite easy. You can just tip the cartridge just to take it out. So as you can see on the housing of the cartridge, there's actually a notch right here, and that is where the battery rests. So when you solder this back on, you want to get it quite accurate, just so it sits in the cartridge nicely. So here is just the battery. As you can see, it's 3 volts, and there are the tabs on the sides. That's just so you can solder it onto the motherboard really easily. So you will need these 3 things. You will need a soldering gun or a soldering iron. You will also need the solder metal to use, and then you will also need a flathead screwdriver. So it's easiest to use the soldering gun or iron and start soldering, and then use the flathead screwdriver just to lift up the battery, and that is probably one of the easiest ways to take it off. So this might take quite a while because it's quite hard to take this off, but just leave it on there and heat it up a bit, and eventually the solder metal will melt apart. So once you've done that, do exactly the same thing to the other side, but you won't need a screwdriver. Just melt the metal and then just pull the battery off. So when doing the new battery, it's actually a good idea to put a bit of solder just on the tabs before you actually stick it on. This seems to be an easier way to do it. I didn't actually have to do this on the Game Boy Color cartridge, but with Game Boy Advance cartridges, because they're a lot smaller, it just makes it a lot easier. So now you can just rest the battery on top, try and line it up as best as possible, and then you can just get the soldering gun and then just solder it to the board. You can always add some more solder if you need to. So now you can just completely rebuild the cartridge, put the motherboard inside of the plastic first, and then put a plastic piece on top, and then you can just put the screw back in. So now time to test it. I'm going to be testing this in my Game Boy Advance SP. I'm just going to be testing a game, creating a new save file, saving the game, and then test if it actually works. So here I'm just going to scroll down and save the game. Once the game saves, just turn off your Game Boy and then just turn it back on and try and boot into the game and see if your save file is still there. So as you can see, this one works. So that is pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out J Wellman's store. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.